So he certainly is probably the OG. I mean, I feel like he might be one of the very first people, if not the first person who was playing chess on Twitch. So certainly, it's great to see him here, getting all this recognition all these years later, and just looking forward to seeing what happens in these games today.
For sure. And his technique has been excellent. We were very complimentary of him during his previous match. And the games are off. And actually, I saw he tweeted about it. That's how thrilled he was to, hear our kind words. And he deserved them. We weren't just saying them. He's played really well. And he takes on Nim from the white side of this position, where Nim quickly with bishop to b4, clearly learning some openings.
Right. So this is a Nimzo Indian. Okay. So Hutch plays knight c3 instead of knight f3. I believe in his game against Nate Hill, he played knight f3 on move 3 instead of bringing this knight out. So it's interesting that he chooses to play this knight. A little bit confused as to why he's thinking here, though, because this is a very well-known opening.
Yeah,
he didn't accidentally bring out the wrong knight by any chance, did he?
I guess that's a possibility, but I would be surprised if Hutch, of all people, did that, because he has the experiences we've been talking about. And this bishop b4 move, he goes for bishop g5. So we're going to get a spicy variation. Both sides are playing for this idea of white going e4. So black pinned this knight on c3 to try to take control of the e4 square. So white returns the favor with bishop g5, pinning the black knight so that e4 becomes possible.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, actually, I would say he was just thinking for a little bit to remember the variation, because there's no way that Hutch would just play this randomly. It's a very, very weird kind of line to play, although I feel like you might have even played this by accident once.
I mean, I played many things by accident. Sometimes they just happen.
Didn't you play this in the U.S. Championship once, or am I crazy?
I feel like, if anything, it was from the black side. I guess.
Okay. I feel like there's some game of yours from the U.S. Championship that I recall in this.
Yeah, I think it's on a show. This feels vaguely familiar.
That makes sense, yeah.
But for Hutch, taking Nim to a position he almost definitely has not studied feels like a good strategy, because as well as Nim has played, if he gets unfamiliar with something, here he's starting to burn clock, and he's already down, it's 30 seconds. He still has 9 minutes, plenty of time remaining. But here are some critical decisions. Are you going to allow white to expand in the center with pawn e4?
Right. So I think probably at this point, it's a tough position for Nim. He has to play like d5, d6, or c5. One problem with this structure is that c5 is obviously the best move here, but I don't feel like anyone would have shown him this idea, because the setup is so unusual, to put it mildly.
Suspicious.
Well, I mean, I feel like most of the ideas normally revolve around putting the pawn to b6 and bishop b7. So in general terms, it's a tough structure, and something that I don't feel like he's probably looked at. So if he hasn't looked at it, he's unfamiliar. If he doesn't put the pawn on c5, I think that white should just be much better.
Yeah, and the point of playing c5, everybody, is to open up this queen on d8 to go over to the queen side. So Hutch plays knight f3. He's just developing his pieces. He could play e4, so he still can after b6. But hey, Nim's showing some good understanding here that this bishop belongs in the b7 square.
Are you so sure that e4 is not just winning for white here?
I'm not positive it's not winning, but I was just trying
I'm very worried, actually. e4, h6, bishop h4, g5.
Right.
Knight g5. I'm kind of worried about this now that I look at it.
Yeah, e5's happening. That's a pin knight here. Ooh, that could be a brutal start, but that means, Hutch played g3 though.
Oh, okay. Okay, so actually it's interesting then. So I'm curious after the match when we talked to when we talked to Hutch, I see Chad is saying way too dank. I'm kind of curious after the match when we talk to Hutch what his explanation will be for playing this opening, because it's obviously different than what he played in previous games. So I'm really curious to hear, and because like g3 bishop g2 is fine for white, but again, I feel like if black plays pawn to h6 here, black might actually be a little bit better due to the double c pawns here.
Right, and those are long-term potential weaknesses, because your idea was c5 at some point. He plays d5, which
is a completely reasonable move as well, I think. Again, the main thing I would worry about is this bishop on g5 with this pin towards the queen. At some point, he needs to push the pawn to h6 and force an exchange.
For sure. So let's listen to Nim to hear what he's thinking about this pin.
Purpose standing here. Yeah. So I'm going to take with this bishop. That's what I put it there for. I don't like this pin either. This pin is actually really dangerous. I got pinned like this against I should be focusing on the game. The issue with the pin is this eventually, but it's not a problem right now. But probably my next move, honestly, is getting rid of this annoying pin.
Good move.
Yeah, he's been well. He's understanding.
I wonder where I
now.
put this knight. Probably here. Because I don't. If I go here, I don't have an escape route. Yeah, that doesn't matter. I'm not gonna move this bishop anytime soon. No, because some shenanigans here. Yeah. Knight goes here. Queen still flex. Still, queen needs to stay here for now. Wow. Why did he go all the way back? This is pretty cool move, I think. What can he do from this diagonal? This? I feel like I take advantage of the fact that he let go of the pin. Let me think for one more second so I'm not missing something. He can put the knight here now. Instead. I mean, it's not a good play though. Even if he's protecting it, I can take it with the pawn. And if he comes in, I take it with the queen. I think I want to go here. I guess if he moves this now, he opens up this diagonal for himself, because now I am blocking this diagonal. But it's not good. I mean, I'm covering this square. I'm scared.
I wonder if he'll play knight d6 here.
Yeah, knight d6 would be an excellent move. If he doesn't do
the
that,
moment
I think
he
he's
moves
already
this
in a lot
knight
of
now,
trouble, actually.
He opens up this. Maybe that's okay.
You know what's interesting, Hikaru? It feels like he's seen knight g5 tactics.
Hold on.
I think he
Go.
has,
Hey,
yeah.
you can't be here right now. You just unplugged my headphones.
His pet gave him a visit, but it's interesting because he keeps talking about this knight g5 move, which often happens if the bishop is undefended. If that bishop were on b7, for example, and this knight were not here, you have these knight g5 tactics. So it's clear he's been doing puzzles, and he does play c5 here. But do you think that Hutch is just going to go forward with c4 or bring his knight into the center with knight e5?
I mean, c4 looks like a very good move here for white. Knight e5 is also good, but I think c4 is extremely strong here. So I'd be a little bit surprised. Oh, but he plays e3, which I don't really like. It's mainly because now the bishop is stuck behind the wall of pawns on c1. So even though at a grandmaster level, as you know as well, Robert, like white's probably just much better here, I feel at the level that these guys are at, it's very it's going to be about maneuvering. I don't feel like the ideas are free flowing for either side.
Very true. And I feel like Hutch has been... Ooh, that move scares me because I see a bishop on d5 that has no safe squares. So if you can get c4 in and hit this bishop, that will be a trap piece. So let's listen to Hutch now and hear if he's thinking about trapping this bishop.
But it's complicated. You didn't trap it.
Exactly. He was thinking the exact same thing we've been talking about.
I will
so
say
we continue with the plan here because
serious.
Now this pawn is pinned. He might just move the rook. He could push the pawn. He could take, but he's not going to do that. He's got to handle that. So he probably moves the rook here.
But then c4 wins his bishop.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if Nim finds knight a5, I will be very impressed.
See, I was going to suggest it, but then I was like, do I even say it? Because that's going to be a tough move to play.
Very tough move. But the problem is I really only see a handful of moves that are okay for black, because c4 is a very big threat. So if Nim doesn't play c4, knight a5, or knight d6, I think he might just be losing here.
I agree.
He was reaching for the A pawn to go A5, which would be a bad move.
He did it.
Oh, he did it. Oh, no. Oh, no.
And Hutch kind of gave that little Popeye side-eye thing going on there. He's like squinting at the board, like, something looks wrong about this. And
okay, so I think the right move right now is just to immediately put pressure on this pawn, but I also need to take away some of the pressure in the center of the board here. Pushing the pawn doesn't work. Because he has this move, and then if take, then...
Oh, he sees it, but he's hesitating now.
Yep.
I think we just... Well, no. This bishop is like so annoying.
Yeah, he knows the idea is there, but he hasn't been able to convince himself because he saw earlier that after C4
no.
Oh
No.
Uh-oh. He missed it. He should see. He saw it. He was talking about it. Hikaru, you know what I think the issue has been in this game so far for Hutch? He's playing way too cautiously.
Yeah, I think he's extremely nervous actually as well. Yeah, because like I've noticed in the other games he's looked much calmer, but now he does look very nervous. And the problem with this move is that it forces Nim to trade. This is the problem. Like, it's not a move where I think Nim has many options. Nim just has to take the knight. So I don't like this. I think Hutch is still better, but I'm a little bit worried about the position right now.
Yeah, you're right. And Nim does take on D2.
Right, because it's just a forced move. There's no other choice.
And so both players were looking at this bishop as a piece that could get trapped. Now it won't even get trapped, even if you like play E4. But of course, Nim just takes because he sees the bishop can swap off. And okay, Hikaru, at a high level, the light square control will be good for black. But at this level, I feel like the pawn on B6 is a bigger issue.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, if Nim finds knight E5 next move, then we might as well just give him the championship trophy. Even after F3, I think knight E5 is still very strong.
Oh my gosh!
If Nim finds knight E, is Nim going to see knight E5? Oh my god! Oh my! Oh no! If Nim sees knight E5, we might as well just give him the trophy.
Well, let's
knight
listen.
E5 is crushing.
We'll listen to him, see if he finds it right now. I don't think he will. Though. It seems very hard.
I don't either.
Guy. Maybe I move him then. Should I move him? What square? What square? D, C, D. This is good actually. Because
okay, so he doesn't see it, which I'm not shocked by, but now Hutch has to move the queen.
Take with my guy. So that's not gonna.
He made a good move though. Right? Rook F8 is a very good move. He just missed that tactical.
But I feel like
opportunity.
I feel like my game plan is actually a bit more clear right now. I think his is also not as obvious now. I actually think I'm in a slightly better
again.
position.
Oh, 95. Will he see it here? Knight E5 is game over.
So this is a problem, but this is a pretty easy fix.
Yeah.
I go here instead? No, I don't.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think it's just, the pawn was under attack, so your natural reaction is to protect the pawn. And if you didn't see it the first time, it feels like unless he really sits and thinks and just finds it on the spot, it's going to be hard for him to get to.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, this is wow. I do agree with you though in terms of Hutch. I do think he is the better player, but I feel like Hutch in general, I think he's just a little bit too nervous.
I really like the position of my queen, so I need to really fight to keep her there. And the
other problem I'm realizing is this position is very hard to play here because this is very advanced. Like he's still doing fine, but this bishop on A3, it's going to be very hard to figure out how to bring it into the game in a way that makes sense logically. Okay, so he goes, okay, now knight E5 again is winning the game here. Will Nim see knight to E5? I like rook B2 from a conceptual standpoint, though. The idea to bring the rook to B1. Like the idea at least is good behind it.
Completely agree. And I feel like now is especially hard to find knight to E5 because there's this rook protecting the queen. So you have to realize that both of your pieces here on the deal, you have two attackers on the d2 square if that pawn is moved. So knight e5 threatens to go knight f3 check, and all the light squares are so weak because you had to give up your Frappuccino bishop over here.
Right, agreed. Yeah. So I mean, I don't think he'll see it, but it's just a tough position, I think. To even pawn to e5 here is also very strong. Now the irony here is that if white takes with bishop, you still have knight e5.
I wonder if it becomes easier to see if bishop takes c5, because then you think,
right,
oh, if the pawn takes, I get the bishop. So like there's more things hanging there.
Also true, yeah.
And Hutch's bishop is getting trapped if not for,
right. That's why I don't like this. I mean, like I like the move, but I hate the move. It's like everything in between because it forces Hutch to find the move. There just aren't any other moves as far as I can tell.
Right. Yeah.
But Hutch might be worried. He might not realize his rook protects his queen here. I mean, I kind of wonder if Hutch hasn't seen knight e5, actually.
I feel like he has not seen it. I feel like it's been such an easy thing to miss for both players.
Yeah.
And why don't we listen into Hutch? He has a tough decision ahead. So let's hear his thoughts right now.
Oh, no.
You just subscribed.
Uh-oh. 95, I mean, it's just... I'm very concerned here. The one good thing for Hutch, or not Hutch, but for Hutch, I would say is that I don't think Nim has seen the idea before. So if Nim had seen this idea with knight e5, knight f3, I think he actually would have found it.
Right.
But it's still a very tough position here for white to play. If Nim takes with the a pawn and pushes c4, I think... Oh, man, he did it.
Nim's a beast. Okay, that's a good move, bishop c1, because now at least there's no knight e5. The problem is there's pawn takes d4.
Right, actually. Yeah, that's why I don't like this move. That's actually why I think bishop b2 is better, because now pawn takes pawn is really strong. Then you start to see the knight ideas, whereas bishop b2 c4 was also very good for black. But there, I don't think that the ideas weren't
I don't want to give
clear.
up that pawn, so like I have to move him here. It's a spot for him, but...
And his reasoning, it makes
sense. I don't have too many
Right.
options right now. He's got another threat here. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I mean, if Nim takes the pawn, it's going to be very hard.
He decided to do
He
that,
had
though.
c4, though.
Okay.
Okay, now I think Hutch has some chance. It's great for black. I mean, these two pawns are menacing, but at least if he moves his queen away from d2 now,
It's
which
a powerful move.
I feel like is the move you want to play to get your bishop free,
Mm-hmm.
there are no longer these knight e5 tactics.
Right. So this is very, very, very tricky here. Yeah, I don't know. The problem I think after queen c2 is there's still pawn to c3 or pawn to e5.
Ooh.
Both moves.
I really don't
Although
like
the
my
fact
position.
that Nim didn't see e5 yet, I mean, I think is going to be very hard for Nim to see that.
Right. I could actually see him playing f5 here to stop e4 if he thinks
I'm
that
not a
e4
fan.
is a threat.
Right. Also very possible. Yeah, this is true. But both players are getting low on time, so I mean, I feel like every move here is super critical because if Nim blunders one of these pawns on c4, b4, his position could fall apart right away.
And he played b3,
which is completely
that might be
fine
good
too.
for me.
Yeah. I actually like b3 because conceptually you get rid. It's only one pawn that you have to worry about.
Feels good for me.
Oh, but Hutch likes it for him because his bishop has new life.
Yeah, of course, obviously. No, what I mean is I think it makes it harder to blunder for black because now it's only one pawn you have to focus on. Now the question is Hutch has to be very careful not to play queen to d3 here because queen to d3 would lose again to knight to e5.
Yeah, that's really testing your opponent. Like, knight e5, will it be seen long? I think it does actually come much more naturally when there's a queen directly under attack. So you're more
right. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, this is both players getting low on time as well, though. I mean, I feel like if Nim had a couple more minutes, like let's say Nim had 4 to 5 minutes, I think he would probably find the right moves here. But with only about 3 minutes, I think it's very unclear. I think it's very murky in terms of who's going to win this game.
I agree. And if you're Hutch, would you play queen to c5 or would you try to keep the queens on the board?
I mean, I think you probably try to keep the queens on the board, but it's just a very tough spot to be in here. It's just really tricky. I just don't know where I mean, queen c3, I guess, is the best move. And now, again, Nim here can play queen to e4 or pawn to e5. Both moves are very strong.
Now, queen e4 actually opens up an attack on the rook, and this d4 pawn again is in some trouble.
Right.
I wonder if in the back of both their heads, they're thinking, can white play bishop b2 and e4? Because Hutch, he said he likes his position more because his bishop actually can go to a3 and look more active than it ever has. But I wonder if he's starting to get these ideas where he is a d4 player through and through. If he can get 2 pawns in the center, that will look good for him.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think it's anybody's game here, barring some spectacular moves from Nim. If Nim pushes a pawn to e5, I think he's doing very well. Plays queen e4, I still think he's doing well. But again, tough position for both players with very little time on the clock. And I expect there to be a pretty big blunder by one of them. I don't know who, but I think one of the players will make a big blunder somewhere in the next 5 moves.
And with such little time, that makes sense, right? You're now under 2 minutes. Each side, rook b6. So he has good ideas. He's just trying to get his other rook to b8, probably.
I don't like bishop a3 at all, though.
Yeah, he's going to go to c5, I guess.
Yeah, it's just tough position. I mean, I don't even know what we're supposed to say, honestly, because it just feels like with every move you're hanging on a thread.
It does. And what I'll add is that bishop a3, he played it quickly. That's the best thing that Hutch just did. He put it in only 7 seconds. Whereas now Nim is spending quite a deal of time, and the time advantage for Hutch is growing. So why don't we listen to Nim again to see what his thoughts are as this position heads towards a bullet scramble?
Right.
God, I'm so scared. But I have to play. I'm down on time. I have to play. I mean, if he goes here... Oh, he did this move to do this. Oh, this is going to be really... It's going to be the worst. I don't know how to win this game. I could go here. I eliminated a defender, but...
It's got to move, though. No time.
Hutch plays so quickly.
Just gotta go.
Oh, this.
Okay, e5's not a bad move.
I think that was a good play by me.
It's almost like he heard you.
Yeah, I mean,
I need to start trading pieces.
Okay, queen c4 is a very nice move.
Real
also.
fast.
So he's got to take the pawn.
Right.
Take the pawn or move the queen. He's got to. Okay, he takes the pawn. Now, one thing I was going to add though is Nim has been the best player at playing under time pressure with very little time on the clock. Oh, whoa! He's about to play rook b4.
Hey, good move.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like this is the one thing Nim has been much better at than everybody else is keeping his cool when he has not had much time left.
That's true. And I think Hutch is going to keep the queens on the board.
He should.
This is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I think I'm going to lose this game.
So he trades the queens. Okay.
Okay, he actually kind of
This might be a draw, actually, after f4 if you go rook to d8 here, or knight to a5. If he plays f6, which I don't like. I'm going to predict that this game might be a draw here, because I think both players are going to bring their kings up.
Right.
I have a feeling this is going to be a draw.
Nim's doing a great job bringing that king into e6 like that. Keep it going.
Yeah, just king d5 here, of course. Yeah.
Well, he's actually... I mean, Ludwig's reading Dvoretsky's endgame manual. It feels like Nim's is writing the book right now.
Yeah, this has been very, very impressive by Nim. Okay, now knight a5 here. Oh, what's king c4? Ooh, I don't like that. Although, actually, king c3 is now a threat, too. It's like...
I think he's in a pickle.
King c4 actually a bad...
Oh, what's this move
He's
now?
bringing the king up.
Yeah, okay, so he's got to go rook e8 check here, and he's probably winning if he sees it. But it's a very hard move to see at this point.
Oh, my God, that's a good move.
That was not a good play, I don't think.
This is very, very good by Nim.
That was not a good play.
Okay,
I
so,
have a bit of time now. I can.
so
think
now
again.
95 is winning the game here, right? 95 is just winning, I think.
This position is
is, with
really,
the
really
fork.
locked.
Yeah. Plays rook e8 though, which is a good move also. Now, as long as Nim remembers to bring this knight into the game, he will have a good chance here. Just has to move the knight somewhere that isn't a blunder. That's all he has to do.
Right. I think he's very nervous right now.
Yeah.
So G6 is one of those non-committal moves. He didn't actually see anything for himself, so he just
Okay,
calmly.
but now D5 is a blunder because you can take the bishop. Just rook takes bishop. Rook takes bishop. Takes bishop is winning.
He's going for it.
Wow.
Oh. Wow.
Now you take the pawn.
And these rooks are stuck protecting each other.
This is, oh man, Nim. Yeah, I think Nim's gonna win this game actually.
Did you see him try to go king takes b2 there?
Yeah. No, but I think Nim is gonna win here based on where the rooks are specifically.
I'm sweating my ass off.
Nim should win this. He's just got to move quickly.
He's playing so well.
Yeah. D8 is good too.
That's a good move.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't go to d2. Oh, that's
wow. Oh, what a move. Oh, rook d2, rook d2 now.
yes.
Rook d2. Wow, what a game by Nim. This is amazing. But it's still not over. It's still not over, but this is impressive.
And with very little time on his clock too.
Yeah. So now you take the rook and king c2 and b2. Wow. Okay, I don't like rook d2.
Right.
But it's still good.
White showing king e3 there.
Right. Yeah, with the sneaky idea. Wow, what a game by b2.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I mean, Nim, the progress Nim has made since he started this PogChamps, unbelievable.
Right, now you just take, put the rook on d5. Wow.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh,
Why
wow.
did I join this tournament? My nerves are not made for this. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wow. Oh my gosh. What a game.
That he played an excellent game of chess. I mean, Hikaru, if we go back to the game, he missed 95. But with the exception of missing 95, it felt like besides that, he was perfect almost.
Yeah, almost. I mean, there were obviously a couple points where Hutch could have probably won that game, but the sort of end game that it was so technical that I felt that, I mean, there really objectively were not many chances Hutch had to win that game. So I thought that was amazing. That was just amazing by Nim, honestly. The way he played that end game, especially with those rook moves at the end and then bringing the king with the pawn, was just fantastic. I mean, really, there are no other words that I can use to describe it. But as I said before, the one thing that I saw that differentiated Nim from Hutch was his ability to play good moves when he did not have much time on the clock. And that's one thing that I have not seen from anybody else in this event, where when they get low on time and they have like 20 or 30 seconds, they still keep it together and don't just make a complete blunder. So amazing game by Nim.
And it's a great illustration of how the king can be used as a weapon rather than as a piece that needs to be defended. He just brought that king straight from g8, shot it like an arrow to c4, and then brought the king up to c3, where it's attacking both rooks. And the way he finished that game by taking the pawn and then bringing his rooks to the d file to bring in d2, that was excellent. And the one last chance Hutch has if he played king e3, attacking this rook, because if Nim did what he did in the game with king c2, you take this pawn on b3, and the king takes the rook, I take your rook, we just have a rook trade, and I stole your passed pawn.
Correct, yeah. Just amazing. Really an incredible game by Nim. I feel bad for Hutch because he had a couple of moments where he could have done something, but this is why, actually, Nim's in the restroom, so probably they shouldn't start the next game right away. I mean, the game should just be aborted since he's in the restroom.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll.
Okay.
He's back.
He's back. Okay. Okay.
I actually think these little moments where if you're away from the keyboard and then you come back and you're like a little rattled, I think that actually could be good because it gives you a laugh. He was clearly very stressed he was feeling nervous at the end of that game. So having a little laugh of like running back to your computer can be a good thing.
Wait, so Hutch is playing the Grunfeld? Wow.
And bishop g5 against the Grunfeld. So
I don't like this opening at all by Hutch, although it's clear that I don't know, was it a bluff or did he just convert it? Because he played d5 on move 2. So I'm wondering if he actually made a mouse slip. Like he meant to play a Slav, but then he did something wrong and turned into something else.
Yeah, it's a good question because now it has turned back into a Slav, right? With this
It's like it's like a Grunfeld Slav, like a Schlechter or something. Not that anyone in chat would understand that, but yeah, it's like this is like a Schlechter variation of the Grunfeld and Slav.
I think everybody in the chat already knew that. They were just waiting for me to say it out loud.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah.
and Nim captures on f6, which actually I think is a good move because that knight could have come to e4 had it stayed too long. And
yeah, again, I like this opening choice by Nim. Just very solid. It's hard for me to see ways for the position to get to become very, very complicated here. It's going to be revolving around, I think, the center pawn. So I like what Nim has done so far. Very, very good start.
I agree. And I think that Hutch has to play like knight c6, pawn e5 kind of thing. Just like you need to break the position open for your bishop on f6.
Right. And the one thing that I worry about with Hutch is that he clearly plays very slow. Like he has this very sort of classical style. And I'm a little bit worried that he might not realize that he has to sort of go for the attack immediately. But nonetheless, I mean, a pretty standard position so far. I mean, Hutch really needs to play pawn to e5 here. It's absolutely critical that he does that, or else I think he's just going to end up maybe even a little bit worse here otherwise.
Right, and Hutch needs to win. For those of you who may just be tuning in, Nim is up 1-0 and with a 2-game mini match, you get white and you get black. Hutch needs to win or else he's eliminated. And we're talking about this with e5 because it gives black some dynamic play. And this bishop on f6 is staring into a brick wall. These pawns for white are blocking the bishop's path. So I think e5 would be a very good move to open up his pieces.
Yeah. I think e5 is the best move here. Yeah, I think you know what I feel like with Hutch. I feel like he's just a little bit too nervous in a way. It just feels like he's a little bit too timid, and he's not. I don't know. He whoa! What is b4? What?
I think we should tune into Hutch to see if he sees that he can take a free pawn.
What am I missing?
Stroking his chin.
You're getting cocky, Nim.
He looks really nervous.
You just subscribed. You're getting cocky, Nim. Why didn't he make any blunders like this in the first game? He played perfect.
That's actually like the first blunder we've seen from Nim, maybe in this whole event, really.
First, just obvious blunder. I would agree with that.
This is actually where Hutch's very calm style will pay dividends because
agreed.
In other positions, he just doesn't know when to mix it up.
If he comes down with the knight, I think I got a take.
Right. Now, Nim really needs to move this knight to e5, I think, just to create something that's a little bit trickier to play, or push the pawn to e4.
Right.
Both of those moves, I think, are the most obvious moves.
Yeah, I figured you might do that. I don't want him coming here with his knight.
Oh, we're back. We were off camera enjoying the music.
Right, yes.
There's chess. I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, I actually wonder if the music is too calm because
Yeah.
he needs to win this game.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So so I think at this point probably Nim should play like 95 rook b1. But yeah, I think Hutch is a little bit too calm perhaps, but I do think in general he's up one pawn, he's doing very well. So
right.
So I do think Hutch is in good shape. A4 is a move that I really like though by Nim here, just stopping the pawn to b5.
Yeah, he realizes that he has an open file for his rooks. So he has one rook on c1, the other rook can go to b1 and put pressure on this pawn on b7.
Right.
But I think Hutch will put his bishop on c6. Seems like a very Hutch move.
I like rook c8 much more though, because after rook b1 you can go queen to a5. Now whether he sees that or not, I mean, who knows? But to me, the fact there's a queen a5 next move could really sort of end the game very quickly in a way, if he actually sees that idea.
Yeah, and he also can go rook c7, try to double in the c file, and have a more active way of defending the pawn, whereas bishop on c6 blocks this rook in on c8. And what's the bishop doing there besides just protecting a piece?
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah, this is, I mean, this game, I think, for Hutch, he's lucky because Nim blundered the one pawn, so he really must capitalize on this mistake. Because I think the mistake from Nim was more just like, more sort of the nerves and just like, trying to take it all in rather than like an actual pure blunder per se.
Right.
I think Nim was just like, for a move there, he just forgot. He just kind of got a little bit too complacent and he slipped. But he still plays e4, which I really like as well. Because now the knights get active and black is much better here after the pawn capture or the pawn trade, but I'm not sure how easy it is to figure it out.
Yeah, it's getting more active, and we've seen Hutch react in defensive ways. So that actually, I think, bodes well for Nim's chances if he just takes back on the knight on e4. Then this knight can become c5, and it may worry Hutch.
Right. The only problem with that is that black can trade the rooks and then take the pawn on a4.
Yeah.
But again, no guarantee that that's going to happen, of course.
It does seem like something Hutch would do, though. Just like trade pieces. He knows he's ahead by a pawn. Yeah. He's got the bishop pair. So he is a very principled player in that regard.
Right. The only danger is maybe, he'll realize the bishop on f6, it can be taken. He'll want to keep the two bishops.
Right.
But this is looking very good for Hutch. This is looking very, very good so far.
For sure. He's also up a couple minutes. And, well, we saw Nim really outplay Hutch from start to finish in game one. Then in game two, he showed that he is prone to an occasional just kind of blunder. I mean, just one that he would never... If you gave him 100 games, he's playing b4 this and only this game of those 100. So yeah, he got kind of, the nerves got to him. But who would you say, if Hutch wins, is the favorite in the Blitz game?
I mean, Hutch has to be the big favorite based on the fact that that he's been playing chess for far longer than Nim has. And he's definitely had a lot more experience as well, just playing online. So I think in any kind of Blitz game, Hutch should be a very big favorite, but he will have the black pieces, I believe. Maybe someone can correct me on that, but I think Nim won his group as well, so I assume Nim gets white. But I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, it's a good question. And there's no increment, which I think is scary for the newer players, because what Nim is in great in time trouble, but in time trouble, he gets 5 seconds every move, so he can build back time on his clock. But in a pure 3-minute game with, you lose on time, that's it. You're not getting any time back. So I do think Hutch has to be the favorite because of his years of experience.
Right. I would agree with that. Yeah. So I think, I mean, this is Nim's chance. I think he really has to capitalize here because I just don't see it happening in the Blitz game, based on what I've seen from both the players. But regardless, I would say this has been very impressive by Nim, even if something goes wrong in this game or the next one. It's just been a phenomenal performance.
For sure. So let us actually listen in on Nim to hear his thoughts, to see if he believes he has a chance to come back in this game. So many arrows.
I'm so unsure.
After all those arrows,
I know that was not the best play, but this is too complicated to figure out. So I needed to buy some time.
I like H4 though.
Me too.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But I want to go here with my knight. This is a... You know that castle in Game of Thrones? That's like covered in thorns? That's what this is. How the hell do you penetrate that?
I also like Hutch's usage of time. Like he's
Interesting.
moving relatively quickly in this game,
What's that
unlike
do?
the first game.
Right. I
Could
am
go here now.
a little worried that he'll play too quickly at some point, though.
Also
is not
sure
possible,
what
yeah.
for.
Plenty of extra
Why
time.
does he want to do this?
Right.
I think he just wants to line himself up for the future. I don't actually know what this knight is achieving here. Hold on. What if I block this bishop forever?
Ooh, but
Oh,
then
then he
bishop takes
takes
e4
this.
is winning.
No, he can't then. It's blocked.
Ooh.
4 minutes. He's got 3
Poor
minutes on
Nim.
him.
I mean, I guess it's a good thing though that all his blunders are coming in this
I very
one
rarely
game.
play against
Right.
opponents that put their pawns like this. I don't really know how to attack it.
I mean, you actually
normally my go-to
said that
plan of
when
winning
you
here
played
would
against
just be to
Magnus,
start
right?
trading material, but
Where all of your
he's up
here
on
we can
the
go away from
material,
Nim
so
and
if we traded every
but
Right, you
you're-
want it all to happen like in one game or one match. Now, the funny thing here is that he can play Queen E3. Oh, he just blunders. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He could go Queen E3, and then after Bishop C6, there was still D5. But at any rate, I think this game's going to be over pretty soon. So,
yeah. But
yeah, I think Nim has already resigned, though, based on how he's resigned to lose this game, based on how quickly he's been playing these moves.
I agree with you. I mean, he missed Bishop takes E4. Hutch found it. So Hutch, he's getting sharper. Okay, he was the recipient of a blunder, but at least he figured out, all right, that 94, I can actually capture it. And so the more experienced player realizes that isn't a permanent pin. It is one that I can still move the piece, even if I have a more valuable piece behind it. And he was able to take advantage. But Hikar, just to finish the earlier point, I think you're right that Nim blundering, make all of his blunders in the tournament in one game is probably a good thing because, as you said in your match against Magnus, you just feel like that's not represented in my play. I'm a better player than I just showed, so I can bounce back without kind of fretting that this person is necessarily better than I am. It just was a one-game misunderstanding.
Right. And again, because it's only the one game, it gives him a chance in the match. It's better than, say, playing blunders in first game and second game and then not having a chance. But I mean, the good thing is he won the first game, so we're gonna have another tiebreaker, and this is gonna be interesting. I assume Hutch should be the big favorite. That's my assumption, but who knows? Who knows what will happen?
And if they're going to get a break either way before playing a pretty intense blitz game. But if you're Nim, do you keep going just to maybe get it all out of your system, the rage, let it go, or do you just resign and don't look at this game ever?
I mean, I think he should resign here. I think he will resign actually pretty soon. I don't know how many more moves he'll play, but I think once Hutch takes the pawn on A5 and then starts pushing the A pawn, he'll probably just resign, is my guess.
Yeah.
He might even resign here because he's already down so much time on the clock that, knight C4. And now I assume Hutch is going to play bishop to B3 or D3 and just get rid of that knight on C4.
And Nim has been very vocal about his opponents not resigning against him. So if he doesn't resign at a certain point, you'll probably be like,
Actually, I realize so this is going to be the first game that Nim loses in the whole event, right?
It is.
He's won every single game, I think.
Yes.
Because he's 6-0 right now. He's won every single game. This is gonna be the first game that he loses, actually, in the entire event. So,
and
I think he's gonna resign pretty soon, though. I think he'll play a couple more moves, and once the A pawn, once Hutch takes that pawn and starts moving the bishop to C3 and pushing the pawn, I think he'll resign.
I agree. And Hutch was handed his first defeat by Nim. Nim is going to be handed his first defeat by Hutch. I think it's only fair that we're getting into a tiebreaker between these two players.
Agreed. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one.
I wonder.
I think we saw. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I wonder if it makes someone like Voyboy nervous because you're trying not to watch these other matches before your match necessarily, but you see an upset happen in one of the games, that may put some more pressure on you as the favorite. Perhaps. You there, Hikaru? Is it just me? I think it's okay. It's just me. I thought I was being ignored, and he was doing the best, just stone faced impression ever. And I'm just like, here, wait, where's my validation? Somebody help me out. Where'd he go? Okay, well, Hutch wins. He ties the matchup 1 game apiece. We will return shortly with the tiebreaker match in this Chess.com PogChamps action. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back soon. And Chad, I can't hear you. You can't spell chess without. On a serious note, we're going to have a Twitch Rivals event July 10th. So be excited for that. Bringing chess back to Twitch. It's always going to be here. It's here to stay. But a Twitch Rivals event will be a lot of fun. And we're still here in the PogChamps event. We will have a tiebreak match between Hutch and Nim. 1 game, 3-minute chess. The winner moves on. Well, if nobody wins, then they keep going. They got to keep at it. And when does this match start? I don't even know. It's weird talking to myself. I was just talking to Hikaru. It felt like he tuned me out. It was a little hurtful at the time. Now I've gotten over it, and I'm ready to cover a fun blitz match for everybody. So let's get this party started. It's not a Saturday night, but I'm here and ready. And Hutch will have the white pieces because though both players entered this as the winners of their groups and won all their games before this match, Hutch had played more accurately, more precisely throughout the event, so he gets the white pieces. And we're about to have liftoff. All right, we're about to have this blitz game, everybody. We are ready for takeoff. Let's go. I can't hear you, chat. Get excited. Get excited. Who are you rooting for? Let everybody know. You're rooting for Nim? You're rooting for Hutch? I'm just rooting for great chess. All right, here we go. Hutch gets the white pieces. Starts with d4. Knight f6 by Nim. c4, controlling the center. We saw this. Bishops come to b4, pinning this knight. So Hutch spent a lot of time earlier to play bishop g5, which pins this knight to the queen on d8. And we can see he was queen c2. So the queen c2 Nim, so this is a main line right now where the point is you capture here. You have the e4 pawn, the square covered, but he keeps putting his bishop out to a3. So something about this, hoping Nim doesn't react well. And 2 minutes, 40 seconds for Nim. And for Hutch, 2 minutes, 47 seconds. We got lead on the clock. We have the 3-pawn attack. And Hutch talked about this when he played Nate Hill. He loves getting his pawns advanced here. And b6 by Nim. He's trying to put his bishop on b7. Good response by Nim. All things said, watch out for e5. Opening up the queen and the bishop towards the enemy king. That looks scary. You're making progress. This pawn on d6 is pinned because the bishop was hitting all the way down here. e5 still a possibility, but not as strong. I mean, it's still going to be good. He's going to bring his knight to g6, I think. Come after this one. And look at Hutch. He didn't need to be asked the second time. He plays e5. And now that this knight moves, that's a problem for Nim. Unfortunately, this pawn h7 is attacked twice, and it will only be defended by the king once this knight moves out the way. I expect him to play knight g4. He does play knight g4. His knight wants to come to e3, hitting the queen, hitting the rook. But bishop takes h7 is check to your king here, winning a pawn, and then I can deal with your next threat of knight e3. So he plays rook a to e1, and Nim takes, rook takes. This is actually going to help the attack if you can take this h7 pawn. He probably should have stolen the pawn just now, but he's waiting. He's reacting to Nim's move, and he's playing very quickly. An extra 30 seconds for Hutch at this point and counting. And take that pawn. This pawn's been hanging. Hutch sees it, which means his next move is going to be rook h3. And once this rook gets to h3, this king is in harm's way in the corner here. This is the problem. You have to drop this knight back. The only way to save your king is to drop the knight in front of the rook. Otherwise, the bishop moves. And good response by Nim, and he played it quite quickly. So Hutch is doing great. But he's probably a little frustrated. Like, how do I find the checkmate here? Bishop e4 is a good move. Queen d2 coming next. After this knight on h6, his bishop can drop to c1. Capture this knight. The rook comes in. Everything is working out well for white. So let's listen in right now. We have Nim here. Let's see if he thinks that he's got a chance to come back in this game.
He's up on half a minute on me, dude. What did he do? I don't know how... I'm so screwed, man. My so cluttered. He's thinking of how to checkmate me. Sag. I need to do something really, really, like, clever. But I don't really know what. This seems scary. Take it! You have to take it. Did I use this? No. Did I use this? That's really scary too. Oh! Slowing down? What if I stall? That's my biggest strength, is stalling. I don't know how to stall. Dude, I can't. I'm so fucked. No! Leave me alone. At least I didn't blunder.
Wow. And what a game that was there for Hutch. He played his best chess at the end, checkmating Nim, and it was really an impressive performance there by Hutch. We said going into it that he would be the favorite in the Blitz match. He has more experience playing Blitz. He's been playing chess for a long time. And Nim, his nerves were a bit rattled. He couldn't come up with ideas, and that's a large credit to Hutch's play. So we will be grabbing the players in a bit for an interview. Just a reminder that after the interviews, we will have another match right after. We'll have Moist Critical taking on Slicker, and then they'll play 2 games. They'll have the same exact format. And then after that, we'll also have Box versus Void Boy. But for now, we are going to get set up for the interviews. And Nim is he's going a little crazy. I feel badly for him. That was a really tough place to be in. I do feel for him because he played such an excellent tournament. He deserves nothing but respect for the way he's learned the game, the way he's played throughout this event. And we'll be right back with an interview with both players in a few short minutes. And we are back with the players here. Hutch, first and foremost, congrats to you, man. That was a nice comeback victory.
Thank you. Yeah, he didn't make it easy.
No, he did not. Nim, I got to give you that shout out because you have been so impressive when you first started playing till now. You are so blunder-free for the most part. And I got to ask, did it rattle you in that second game when you blundered your pawn pretty much for nothing, unfortunately, and what an inopportune moment for that blunder?
Yeah, it was probably downhill from there. I had a very clear plan of what I wanted to do with the pawn, and I was looking for a bunch of other things. And I just, I forgot about the knight. I've played a lot of games that are very similar to that. Mm-hmm. But of course, there's always like a piece here or there that's not in the same position. I think in a way, winning the first game made me kind of almost overconfident, I think. And I was like, I'm going to not lose on time. I'm going to play it quickly. I'm very confident. I know what I'm doing right now. And then, oops, there goes the pawn.
I mean, you played an amazing first game. The way you brought your king in during that end game was just perfect. Seriously, it was impressive. Hikaru and I we were watching the game. We were thinking how well you were playing to understand it. And I mean, really, you played an excellent event. And Hutch, on your end of things, you're a very experienced player, but were you more nervous than usual this time? Hikaru and I thought there was some nerve showing.
Oh my God. I've been freaking out since last night and this morning. I don't like this feeling. Yeah, no, I was super nervous. I don't like being the high rated player. I would rather be the underdog.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying as well. I was pretty relaxed about this.
Yeah, I was not. So good for you.
Yeah. Well, Nim, soon you're not going to be the low rated player versus people. If you continue the progress you're making, I'm seriously, it's been extremely impressive. And I heard you and Hutch talking just before. I mean, Hutch, you've been playing for a long time. Nim showed some great stuff in just a span of a few weeks.
Dude, when he pushed that king up in the first game that we played, that really, like, I was astonished. I couldn't believe that he did that because that was like it felt like such an advanced level move. I
don't know what it is, but sometimes I play better when I'm on time pressure because I make the move that just feels the best, like coming from my spine or something. And then afterward, I look at the move. I was like, yeah, that was actually a pretty good move.
Yeah, man, that was really impressive. I wonder, Hess, if you could. I don't know if you have the game up at all, but that first game, I want to know like what went wrong for me. Was it letting him trade off the light squared bishops and then come up to was it D5 with check?
Yeah, you actually could have trapped his bishop in the center there.
I was looking at that, but I didn't think that I could because he had a knight move to attack my queen.
Yeah, we'll talk because you and I, we've been emailing. Maybe we'll get that lesson so we can I can really give you the ins and outs of that position, Hutch.
Yeah, Hutch was really sad in the pre-show. He said like that he's been messaging you over and over again. And you leave him on red every time.
Rabble rouser.
No, I'm pretty sure I responded to his email, but I didn't respond to his latest one, so I do take the fall for that.
He's messing with you, by the way. I didn't say.
No, I know, but Nim. So there are many people watching, some of whom are brand new to chess. What have you been doing to study and improve your game? Because you have shown clear progress, and I think a lot of people could learn from your methods.
For me, I think coaching has been invaluable. I've had a lot of coaching and from a lot of different people, which I think has probably been pretty good too, because everyone has a different style and everyone has different things and ideas that they like to share. So I've had a lot of coaching from a lot of different people. And I think that helps a lot more than watching videos or reading up, because you can always go, but what if I do this? Or what if I do that? And then, other than that, I've been playing a lot, just all the time. Whenever I go to the bathroom, I just whip out my phone and I've been playing, sit on the couch for a bit and whip out the iPad and stuff. So I've had a lot of games in, but I think there was some point in time when I really started understanding the game, and it was a lot more fun to play as well, when you really know why you're playing a certain way and finding a strategy. And after that, I don't know. If you think it's fun, you probably just keep on playing and you're going to improve.
Well, I think you're going to keep on playing, and we hope to see you keep on playing. And we've got time for one last question for you, Hutch. You're going to face the winner of Voyboy versus BoxBox. How do you feel about your chances in the final?
Dude, I was watching Voyboy do some puzzles last night, and he's no joke, man. That's going to be a really tough match, but I think I am going to be a lot less nervous just because I'd be the underdog, so people are going to probably expect that I lose. That being said, like, our ratings are actually not too disparate. Is that the word? They're not too far off. It's like I think he's like 1550 and I'm like 1500. So I think statistically I'm supposed to win like 45% of the time or something like that. So I hope I can give you guys a good game, all of you viewers, and I hope it's not a total blowout. But
I'm rooting for you so that I can say that I lost to the eventual champion.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thank you both. I mean, it's really been awesome to have you. You guys seem like you get along really well, and you played an excellent match, the two of you. So
yeah, it was good.
Both, and
basically best friends at this point.
Yeah, seriously. But I definitely appreciate it and hope to see more great chess from you both. So we're going to go on a break, and when we return, we'll get ready for the next match between Moist Critical and Slicker. Stay tuned, everybody.
Can I give a quick shout out real quick?
Yeah.
Everybody working on the back end of this production are doing such a good job of keeping this thing looking really professional and really well run. So I just want to give a shout out to the staff at Chess.com for doing such a good job. They're doing great.
Yeah, seconded.
Well, that leads us into our break, everybody. We'll be back soon.